And I want to thank everyone for getting on the call. The very first sharing the gratitude gathering call. It's very exciting. For those that do not know me, I'm Toni Terapelli, Universal Power Healer. And this has been just a blessing, and I am filled with gratitude to be able to help so many. And some I don't even know how I've helped because we put messages out on Facebook and the social media weekly as well. So what we're going to do, since this is the very first call, we're just going to, we already introduced each other before the recording, and now I'm going to go ahead and get everyone situated, so please get comfortable. And I want you to breathe in deeply. Breathe in peace. And breathe out any of the stresses of the day. And breathe in unconditional love. And breathe out any anxiety. Take that all in. You're in front of the ocean, sitting on the beach. You're seeing the waves rolling in and out. You're hearing the waves roll in and out. You're feeling the breeze. You're feeling the sand. Just breathe that all in. Breathe in the peace, the wonder, and breathe in gratitude for being there. Breathe that in and breathe out. As the waves come in, breathe in. And as the waves roll out, breathe out. So if you say yes, I'm going to go ahead and take any of the worries and cares that you had today and just take them away. So just say yes, and I'm open to receive. Stop. Everyone on the call is open to receive the releasing of any tension, worries, concerns that they may have had throughout the day. And in their place, fill them with peace and love. Breathe that in and breathe out. One more time. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm very relaxed. So now what we're going to do is, this call is simply to share some of your stories of the healing that you have received. So for those who want to share tonight, go ahead and unmute, and you can begin. Thank you.
Toni, I will start the sharing. So I'm Manni, and I met Toni dancing, and it was a wonderful day. And then a few months later, I met Toni again dancing, and it was an even better day, because at the end of that day, she came up to me and she said, I can help you. I can help your son, and I have a child that has some physical and cognitive issues. And I said, oh, my goodness, I want your card. And so I took her card, and I meet a lot of people when we get out, and Sam brings a lot of attention to our family in a positive way, and meet lovely people, get a lot of cards, and I never really actually called somebody. But what she said to me really stuck in my head. So a week later, I was just an emotional wreck and stressed out and really needing a break, and I decided to go to a hotel for a couple of days and take a chill break. And I called her, and I said, yeah, I need your help now. I want you to work on me, not my son. I want you to help me first. And she came and met me, and within 1 hour, so much of my life changed. She immediately felt, or was talking to Heavenly Father, and he was telling her what was going on with me. And she was telling me everything about me. which was incredible. And then she starts to ask me, do I want a healing? And then we got busy. There were times when she told me there were angels around in the room, and I had a good idea who I thought they might be. But there were only 2, and I was expecting at least 3. And then the lights start turning on and off. It was incredible. I'm like, okay, now I understand that person's here because he would like to show up like that. And it was powerful, and we were both like, whoa. And she began healing more and more, and I have scoliosis. My spine's twisted pretty much, or was. And she's working on that with me, and all of a sudden I get a lot less pain, a warm feeling in the muscles that have been just aching for years. And I'm just like, oh, my gosh, could this really be happening? That was like one thing that happened. We talked about issues with me with water, and I had come there knowing I wanted to go in the pool, and I haven't done that in very many years. And she completely worked on that with me, healed that. I went in the pool after she left, and it was a really big accomplishment for me, and I was so proud of myself. And something that happened when I was leaving the water, I looked back at the ground, and there was just these beautiful footprints that looked like it was sand, and it was concrete. It was so moving and so poignant that I texted her the picture and said, look what just happened. And it was amazing. It's like that all the time. So I went on about my evening, and I went downstairs to eat. And first of all, she worked also on my drinking issues. And I ordered a beer automatically, didn't even notice that it was there and didn't drink it. I had my food. I talked to the people around me, who ended up being the people that were at the pool when I did that. And they were cracking up because I stayed in the water such a short amount of time. And they didn't understand. For me, that was like a year. It was huge. So I told them about my experience, and they were so excited for me. We were getting high fives. Everybody was happy, and it was great. So I go outside, and the other group, the family that was at the pool with me, goes, we thought the water must have been too cold for you because you didn't stay in very long. And I told them what I was doing and why and how this was happening. And they were giving me high fives. And then I looked to the sky. We're in Old Sacramento, and Rayleigh Field explodes in fireworks. It was just perfect. And from that point on, people just keep coming to me. It's like I'm brighter, and people see it and feel it. And all of a sudden I'm able to say, I actually have something to offer you. I can say, call this woman and see what happens in your life. Everything around me has changed. Toni has worked now with my husband, with my son, and with a large number of my friends already. And everything around everybody's life is changing and getting better. When I was in Old Sac that weekend, I went down to the old town and just sat on a curb. And homeless people were just coming up to me going, God bless you, you're so beautiful. I'm like, whoa, what is this? What is going to me? And I just got to reach out and tell them that I love them and I, want the best for them. And it's exactly what they were saying for me. And I just never experienced anything like that in my life. And it has pretty much continued since June 13th when I was healed with Toni. So many of my child's issues are fading. He's starting to verbalize a lot. He was pretty much nonverbal for 22 years. He's using his hands now instead of twisting them up and not. He no longer requires 3 minutes to respond to someone's request or need. He gets up and does it. He's doing many more things for himself. I will no longer help him in the restroom. He knows how to do it. He's got to do it. And he's doing it.
Excuse me.
There's just so many categories.
Well, what is his disability?
He has I would say his main syndrome is called Kabuki syndrome, which has a lot of issues, gastric issues, speech issues, cognitive issues, and a lot of physical problems with, like, walking and not being able to do a lot of things himself.
Worse than autism, then. Wow.
There's a component of autism with this as well.
That's amazing.
There's a lot of autistic features. And I'm seeing amazing improvements. Like, incredible. And I want that for yours, too. It's amazing what's happening. He's really stepping into his own and being able to get released from whatever's holding us back. And he's shining. And he wants to, and it's beautiful. I mean, watching my rib cage change back to its normal form was the biggest thing for me, and that happened that weekend. 2 days after Toni worked on me, I woke up in the morning, and I had this intense chest pain. And I'm thinking, okay, here we go. I'm having a heart attack. I was too stressed out. So I don't go call 911. I grab my phone, and I go to the mirror because I want to see what's happening. And so I watched as my ribs just suck in, like 2 inches in. I'm going, this feels really tight. This is really bizarre. What's going on? I'm going, breathe, breathe, breathe. And then it stops. And I noticed that my left ribs that have been sticking out like 3 inches is like halfway back in my body. And all this pain is like stopping. I'm going, what just happened to me? I mean, I can't tell you how much I believe in this because every time I get nervous about it or somebody says something like not right about it, I just touch my ribs. They're almost all the way flat back in my body since June 13th. I'm a half an inch taller now. It's changing my spine. I'm improving in ways that are indescribable other than Heavenly Father. It's really serious, and it's really true, and it's happening. And I'm watching it happen for my son, which is so cool. And everyone around me. Everywhere I go now, I'm giving Toni's name because they're coming to me telling me what's wrong with them. And I just offer it. And most of the people I've given her information to have called her. It's a really beautiful thing that is happening, and I think the more people get affected by it, it's just going to ripple because it is right. It is good, and it is really, really helpful. And you learn so much about yourself in the process. I can't imagine not changing always now. Always changing to do better and be better. So that's what I have to say tonight. And I love you, Toni.
Love you too, Manni. Thank you so much for sharing. That's incredible. It amazes me when I hear the stories because they're just so vast and it touches so many areas of our lives and we have no idea. And I forget because you share in the beginning, then I forget as time goes by. So thank you very much. And I love working with your family. It's incredible.
We love you too, baby.
All right.
And it is incredible.
Does anyone else like to share tonight?
Sure.
And please introduce yourself.
It's Joe again. Well, I've known Toni for about a year and a half, I guess, and we go to the same church. And my daughter worked for a while in her other endeavor. And, yeah, she told me about this, and I don't remember which was the first thing we worked on, but there was a few remarkable things, and the story we just heard was just amazing, and I must say, you certainly don't have to worry about other people's opinions. You know, they're not going to believe it. Don't try to convince them. You know,
I'm not.
Most people aren't open to change and are ready for change, and that's fine. They can be where they're at. My daughter, who just delivered a gorgeous little baby girl at 1:22 this morning. Has had 2 premature sons before this, and just past the, like a couple days past the critical point, which is really badly premature. So she was really working hard and doing everything she could, and then I think 6 weeks ago, she started having contractions, and not just little tiny Braxton Hicks, but some real contractions. And so I texted Toni at 911, and she said it should be better, and then the contraction stopped. She didn't have another contraction until 4 or 5 days ago when she started her Braxton Hicks, and then she ended a very normal and easy labor last night. 5 hours of build up, and then 2 hours of labor, and just really easy, nothing bad, and no tearing even. So lovely 6-pound, 8-ounce baby girl who just didn't look like she was in the womb. No wrinkles, nothing, just beautiful, smooth, rosy skin. And so that was a miracle. And I have I recently figured out that a cycle that I've gone through of being injured, and being injured by external forces, and I know quite certain that we choose that, and people can think that things happen to you. Nothing happens to you. Everything happens from you. But so that's another story. But so, somebody runs into the back of my car. I just believe that was my choice to put myself in front of their car. In fact, I know it. The one time it happened, I was going to pull over in this line of cars, and the little voice in my head said, do you want to pull behind those cars? And I said to myself, well, sure. And the next car is back there at the corner, 800 feet back. It's fine. This guy drove straight into me at 35 miles an hour. So, anyway. And then I've been sick, this and that and that and that, and disabled, and checking out from life, and then getting on medication and alcohol, and being absent. And I finally just recently, and I think it may have been after Toni worked on me, or just before, but then I figured out that it was an emotional basis from when I had 2 businesses, a tire shop and a software business, and I had to choose one, and then I shut down the software business, and it tore me apart, because I had this vision of myself in the future of being an important person who was going to change the world, which I have again. But at that time, it was my whole self-worth. Now it's just something that I'll probably do unless I don't, And I realized that these injuries were from that. It was preceded by an injury, and then it just kept following. And so I was in, I tore my knee, tore my meniscus. That was the latest. As I was moving out of my office, closing my beautiful office and moving home, making another change, which was painful, and I tore my knee. And so I'm on the pain pills, and really it's better if you mix pain pills with alcohol if you want to really relax. So I got into that pretty good, and then I got off, and actually then Toni did a thing on me to release me, and it actually knocked my tolerance down to way down to I hadn't taken any pills for I hadn't been taking pills for 2 months, So I'm a scientist, a chemist, and so I experimented with it, and then unfortunately I got into another bout of drinking and pills, but then I shook it off, and I shook off addiction to sugar, and now I'm overweight, well overweight, but just feeling good and getting on the path. And I had her work on that grief from that loss when I figured out that was the core of it. And I immediately had a substantial improvement in my knee. It would be very sore when I was I would limp badly when I would get up in the morning, and then if I did much of anything, I'd be limping, and then really limping badly the next morning. And it was improving, and then I had her just focus on the knee. And so I just texted her. And so I'm walking out the front room, and I don't really notice if it's good, and I realize I'm taking these little steps, and there's no pain in my knee. And I said, oh, wow, knee feels good. So she texted me a minute later, your knee should be feeling good now. And so the next morning, I got up with no pain. And it's been I had a period where that happened after some really good chiropractic work, but then I mowed the lawns and it just went back to it, which I believe is because I was emotionally drawn there. And I did something which seemed foolhardy, which is I got to pruning the trees, and I pruned the trees in the backyard and hauled the branches out to the front yard in a big pile, like a 6-foot by 2-foot high pile. And my knee was getting in, and I'm like, well, have I screwed myself up again? Yeah, because I am kind of a jump first, look later kind of guy. And I got up this morning, nothing. I'm walking around, a little sore, but appropriately sore. So it's just resolved, and so that was a miracle. And I believe that stopping that labor dead in its tracks. I mean, we're talking. I called her back 5 minutes later, and how's it going? Well, they've stopped and never started again. And I believe that I've gained I've made an emotional shift, which I was working on, and I was in, so it supported that. But I made this emotional shift and opening myself up to having that grief that I had be part of me, and I feel that I'm not going to be getting hurt and sick again. And but I've also just gotten back into life and started participating. I was just laying on the couch all the time ever since I had crashed my motorcycle before I closed the business. And it was I had to, because the motorcycle, the crash eventually taught me that I had to limit risk, and I realized I had too much risk. I had to close the business. And ever since then, I haven't really been into life, and so suddenly I'm back and playing with my grandkids and doing stuff, and getting up and pruning, going back out after dinner and finishing the pruning, and it's pretty freaking amazing.
It's really amazing.
Yep.
I think it's amazing grace.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Joe.
Oh, let me interject. So my daughter's name is Grace Faith Meyer. Hey, isn't that a potent combination?
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so awesome.
If you have grace and faith, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you guys, I'm just smiling ear to ear. I'm smiling from my inside out. It's just amazing to hear, and how the healing just continues. It's not just a one time. It just continues to get better and manifest in so many areas, and because your cells keep on working. Because once we start the ball rolling, it just continues to roll. So it's really fun and wonderful and really warming to my heart to know that this gift that has been given to me is really making permanent changes that are truly giving people their life back, huh, Joe? It's really, I said it's giving you your life back. How awesome is that?
Yeah, I got my life back, but it's crazy. I'm sorry I missed her name, but the other gal, to change, have her spine changed like she's in a movie.
In front of my eyes, it was incredible.
That's like almost scary.
It should have been scary, but I should have called 911, but I didn't. I just went, no, just watch.
Yeah, well, that's
something just said, wait a minute.
That's a wow moment.
Yeah.
It was wild.
it's been fun watching her, and then she grew. Didn't you grow an inch after the work that we did as well, or?
It's somewhere between a half inch and an inch, and I have to keep getting measured in the same place and make sure I have it because different doctors have it different, so I want to be sure. But, yeah, seriously, I'm growing. I'm getting my height back. And I'm only 4'10", so that's a big deal.
Exactly. How wonderful. And did you say before that there was a doctor over there that mentioned about, there's no explanation, this is a miracle or something?
I went down to Med 7, and I was really having a struggle, and I'd asked them, please take an X-ray. I think I have a fracture. And I've had fractures before with that rib sticking out. If a tall guy picked me up to hug me, he'd break my ribs. And it happened like twice, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really bad. And so now to have that rib back in place and me to actually see my height. So I go into the doctor and I'm going, this has really gotten worse. It's bad, and I want to make sure I don't have a break. And he says, okay, let's do an X-ray. So he does it and goes, just so you know, the bone scan that you showed me that you carry in your wallet, he goes, your spine is way worse now than that. That was 5 years ago, and it's way worse. And I said, please give me a copy of that. I need to see that. I'm going to take it to my doctor. And I couldn't walk. I was like using crutches. I was like dragging myself around going, I don't know how this is going to end up. I'm just continuing to twist. And actually called myself the Twisted Sister because I was twisting. And so I go to this doctor. He gives me the X-ray. I leave. I come back because I'm having more trouble. And I get a different doctor, and I show him, oh, no, this was after I worked with Toni, or she worked with me. And then I show him that my rib's back in place. And he just looked at me and he goes, this is a miracle. I go, it really is a miracle. He's just shaking his head like, well, there's absolutely no explanation other than that. There really isn't. It is the truth. It is a miracle. And I thought I had the benefit of actually seeing it like you said, Joe, like in a movie.
Yeah.
It was intense, and it has changed my life for sure. And like I said, if I ever get nervous, I just touch my rib cage.
So you're walking.
I just remind myself.
You're walking without a crutch now?
I don't use them. It's only when it's really bad, and I'm like, there's periods with this where I've had 6 weeks where I'm pretty hurt, and then I get better like you, like just things come up. But it don't stay like that for years. But when it happens, it's like everything you can't, every step is, you can't breathe.
Wow.
My ribs were in the wrong place, and I think that kind of moves your lung power.
No doubt.
You start to wonder, am I going to get crushed by my own spine, by my own rib cage? And now I know for sure that is not going to happen. I'm going to get taller, and I'm going to be bigger and brighter and better. And hopefully everyone around me is going to join this party.
Yeah.
Because it's a good party.
I would say so. I'm excited. I love it. And I tell you guys, I could sit here and listen all day long. It makes me feel good. I wanted to save the world, and it looks like one person at a time is happening. So I'm excited.
I agree with that, Toni. And I remember I told you it's something when it happens to you and you get the miracle. You really do just want to scream from the rooftops and tell everybody, hey, listen to this.
Yeah.
And thank you for giving us that format.
Thank you. Manni's the one that said, Toni, I want to do this for you. Because I was going to have a weekly call of just, another hour-long meditation healing. And she said, no, take the night off and let us just talk. Let us talk about what you do for us. And it's really, thank you, Manni. That's a fantastic idea. I love it. And it's just, I swear, I can't stop smiling. My vibration is way through the roof. It feels so good. So, wow. Yeah, so it's awesome. So I thank you. And my hopes and prayers and, what I want for this call is to have everyone just smiling from ear to ear and from the inside out, so that when they hang up, it's going to be residual for at least 2 or 3 days. And then you just listen to the recording. It will happen all over again. And I want, just by people listening to the call, to have the healing happen. And I do believe that that's exactly what's going to be happening. Because I know
believe it's happening right now.
Yeah, I feel it. How about you, Joe? Do you feel that?
It.
Yeah. It's
going.
Yeah, it's just a bursting at the seams. So I really appreciate you guys sharing, and now it gives me kind of an idea of people who want to share. We're only going to have like a couple per evening to share. Otherwise, we're going to be here for a marathon call. So I appreciate it, and again, I'll share just a couple of minutes as far as what I get from helping you guys. It's almost, it's a need. If I don't help somebody every day just a little bit, even a quick little tune-up, I feel like something is missing in my life. So I thank you for being so open and receptive and knowing that this is true, this is amazing, and it works. And you can reach out, and you don't have to reach out for ibuprofen. You can reach out for the phone and say, hey, Toni, this is what I need, and I love that. And so that brings me so much joy, and I will be forever thanking everyone who is open and receptive. So thank you guys very much.
You're welcome.
You are welcome, and thank you for loving that.
I do. So I mean, my kids are so funny now. They'll even come home and say, okay, Mom, my shin's hurting. Can you do that for me? Okay, my ankle, can you help me? My puppies, my furry humans, they just know instinctively to come up to me. This one time my little puppy was limping, and I'm like, okay, I was on the phone with somebody. I said, I'm sorry, I have to go. My furry human needs me. And I did some work on her, and she stopped limping. So my puppies even know the energy, and they know where to go to. It's pretty cool. It's like I'm the medicine woman in my house. So
your house is bigger.
Yeah. Yes, I know. I guess I do have a really big house. It's very expensive these days, huh? I love it. The pictures of the baby just was so heavenly to roll over as I barely am waking up and see these newborn. And she did. She's a beautiful baby. Wow, just absolutely gorgeous.
Let me mention, last night when she left for the hospital, I texted Toni and asked her if she could just give it a little bit of help, and it certainly did help. Not only did she have an easy birth, but the only time she's cried since she was born was when they poked her to take blood.
Yeah.
She whimpers a little if she's hungry. She coos a little.
Wow.
Her dad, after he came out, he just said, "Hi, Grace," and was talking to her because, of course, she knows his voice. And she was just had her eyes wide, and she was looking at him like she was like,
wow.
Dad. And it was funny, that you have to stay on top of these hospitals every second. And so she didn't cry. And so they go, we need to, whatever they do these days, pinch her or something. They use it.
They rub their heels.
Oh, okay. Yeah. My daughter said, no, she's fine. She's breathing. She's fine. And they said, okay, we're going to weigh her. And she said, no, I'm going to hold her. Well, that's okay.
I love her.
So they got to weigh her an hour and a half later, thank goodness.
That's awesome.
And then they said, we got to give her a vitamin K1 shot. And she said, no, I've been eating a lot of green vegetables. You don't. That's our policy. Well, no, we don't need that.
Good for her. Man, you give her a high five for me. So totally blessed her with the unconditional divine love and peace from Heavenly Father. And I had his hands, who was giving me goosebumps all around her in the womb.
Nice.
Wow. So to hear that, and that was...
Hey, I got a picture. I'm sorry, but I got to tell you. It was from 343, and she was laying there, and she's got a smile on her face, and that's not gas.
That's right. No, it's not. I can attest to that.
And Joe, congratulations.
Thank you.
I didn't want to say it when you were saying it because I didn't want to interrupt it. But I was bursting to tell you I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's incredible.
That's great.
That is so cool.
Name, oh my gosh, her name just speaks to the top of it all.
So I'm going to go ahead and take us back into meditation to end this call, unless you guys have something else you would like to share.
I want to say that I love you, and I thank you so much for seeing us and me having the wisdom to actually call you. I'm just so grateful for this whole thing.
Well, I thank you very much and love you and your family so much. And I can't wait to see Sam completely walking out. We're going to be going on stage, and he's going to tell his story. I know it.
Yeah, I know
it's going to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So thank you, and thank everyone else that's on the call. So I'm going to go ahead. You can either mute or just stay quiet as long as you don't have the background noise. And we're going to go ahead and take this into meditation. Please get comfortable. Put your hands by your side, palms up, and go ahead and let's just really take this into deep gratitude. So let's breathe in gratitude. Let's breathe in the gratitude for every cell of our body. Let's just, Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this gift, and thank you so much for allowing me to gift people with this and help them. And I can't thank you enough. And I'm looking forward to my gifts getting even bigger and more profound than they already are, because I know that is Heavenly Father's plan for me. And I appreciate that. So let's just take in being in this time, in this lifetime, and having the blessings just pour all over us, and being so open to all of the blessings. Say yes, and I'll give you even more, Heavenly Father. We're so open to receive any and all blessings that we are to receive for our highest good and for us to serve the highest purpose that you have for us here on earth. So that we take away any fear, any angst, and any resistance that is stopping us from being our best. Thank you. We are now receiving this in our mind, body, and soul, and our heart. Breathe that in. Just breathe. And thank each and every person on this call for their sharing on the call and sharing with someone else that may need the healing. I thank you so very much. In Universal Power's name, Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, and Jesus. Amen. Thank you, and thank you. What a fun call. Did you guys enjoy it as much as me?
I really loved it.
Okay. Thank you again, Manni, for suggesting it. It was absolutely wonderful.
Love you, darling. I want this to happen because it just really has to.